Good morning, everyone!
Good morning!
Here we are, another day with the videos. And us. What's new then? What's going on? Your quiz isn't tonight, is it?
No, we've had to move it because a lot of people went away for the weekend, actually. Yeah.
Any questions from your quiz when I throw out there?
Oh, there's a numbers round. So basically it's going to be like Disney school. So there's your ABCs, numbers, colours. But the numbers round are questions, and it's stuff like, how many thingamabobs does Ariel have? How many golden camels does Aladdin have when he is royalty?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
It's very good. Very clever. Anything going on in the world? In our world?
Cut the grass yesterday, lawnmower broke halfway through.
Oh yeah. That was annoying.
Really good.
What was funny though, because the screw came out of like where the handle like screws into the mower.
Yeah, the actual like lawnmower was fine.
Yeah.
It was just the handle, like half of it came off.
Yeah, but what's funny is that it came off and I came downstairs and he was like, oh, it's come off. So there's like a bolt or something missing.
Yeah.
Your dad came around with like more bolts and stuff and like gadgets. He
All
even
of his
came
tools.
around with a metal detector to find the missing like nut that ties into the screw. I'm there with the metal detector on the grass, like going around trying to find this little tiny little thing. Your dad came around and was like, oh, there's no bolt missing.
Yeah,
there's
it's
no
just,
like nut missing. You just
it's
push
like
it in.
just stripped. So the inside of the hole had like worn away. So the hole was now too big for the screw. So the screw had just fallen out. So you just had to like fill it with like one of those weird like plastic things and put the screw back in. So you were traipsing around the grass for ages, like
looking for something that never fell off the lawnmower. Fun though. Found some treasure. Right. Nothing much more to say than that. So today I've screenshotted some emails, various emails. So we're not just doing one today, we're not just doing one email, we're not just doing two, we're doing 3+. So guys, thanks for the emails, love the emails, fantastic emails. Keep them coming, I do enjoy reading them all. Right, so this is going to be a little amalgamation of random emails. I thought they were pretty good, and sometimes you get emails where you're like, they're not long enough to talk about for 20 minutes, but it's interesting. Let's get this party on the road. So the first email is from someone called Belinda Rubner, I'm going to say, who is from Australia.
oh, cool.
G'day. And they would like to know, if you were cast in your favourite movie musical, which one would it be?
Movie musical.
Movie musical.
I mean, Singing in the Rain is my favourite, but I think I'd want to play Lena Lamont, just because I think that's just a more fun part to play.
Yeah.
She's the one who's like, and I can't stand them.
See, like, I'd love to do Singing in the Rain. Like Don Lockwood, that's the part,
Yeah.
isn't it? Amazing part. But I'd have to go to tap school.
Yeah.
Sometimes this happens where an actor gets a part, and if the like production team really want that actor, they go, okay, the part's yours, but you're gonna like do 2 or 3 weeks before rehearsals, just working on this number.
Yeah.
To have like a 2 or 3 week head start.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of like, I know it's different because it's like youngsters, but like Billy School, all the Billy Elliots in Billy Elliot might not be like the strongest dancers. Like my mate George Maguire, who was one of the originals, like wasn't a dancer. He always says to me like literally blagged his way through the auditions by watching the boy in front of him.
Yeah.
But they loved it. He's such a good actor and got a really amazing voice and could do the accent like perfectly. So they then had like Billy School where they would train up the 3 Billies to the point where they were like amazing dancers before they went into the show.
Yeah, so if I ever did play Don Lockwood, I'd probably need a bit of tap brushing up on, because I've not done it for a long time.
Selena's the perfect part because she doesn't dance at all.
Yeah.
She doesn't dance at all and just gets someone like, oh, she's like the funniest character in it.
Yeah. Saying that though, I probably wouldn't do Singing in the Rain. I sort of jumped on your idea. I probably, no, I was just like, oh, Don Lockwood's a good part, but probably wouldn't do that. Movie musical.
Surely West Side Story, no?
Yeah, West Side Story, that's a really good shout. The new one. Yeah, West Side Story would be really fun. Or even Little Mermaid, the new one, as Prince Eric. Would have loved to have done that. But apparently Harry Styles is doing it now.
Really?
Yeah. Which is weird because I'm sure that I saw like a guy got announced doing it.
I mean, this happens a lot where people do like really convincing rumours and it goes around for ages that so-and-so's playing this, but they're like, absolutely not.
Would have loved to have done a bit of Prince Eric. Right, next. So the next email we have is from someone called Betsy Gervasio. I think that's right. That might be wrong. I do apologise. Betsy is asked about like auditions.
Yeah.
And like, how do you know if they're legit? Basically, is like the main thing.
Oh, okay.
What?
No, just I've got a story about this.
Because they've said, I want to know how to tell if an open audition is legit or fake. I'm going to quickly say it's really hard to tell, but the sort of telling sign would be there's always a casting director involved in any audition. There should be. So one, if there's not a casting director involved, don't go to it. Two, find out who's casting it and do your research if you feel like this is a bit dodgy. Any good casting director will have a website at least with a body of work that they've cast beforehand. So just do your research. That's probably the only telling sign. Also as well, if the venue's a bit weird or like there's other telling signs, but your big one is finding out that the casting director is legit.
Also, I think where you find the open audition as well. If it's in like the stage newspaper or on the stage website, chances are that it's legit because they wouldn't be promoting it if it wasn't.
Yeah.
And also, it will probably be on like the social media for the show. I think social media is probably a good way to like look up and see if it's a legit thing, because if it's like an open audition for Dear Evan Hansen, but Dear Evan Hansen haven't posted about it, maybe be a little bit more wary.
Yeah. It'll all be like on the internet to make sure that it's real.
Yeah.
So another email. This is from someone called Emily Moriarty, which is a really good name. They've asked, how do you get out of your contract for Back to the Future because of Frozen? Or have you ever had those troubles before when you had to get out of a contract? Luckily, my contract for Back to the Future was only till Manchester, and then COVID happened, so it just ended anyway. So yeah, luckily when Frozen came, I didn't have to get out of anything.
There was no overlap.
Yeah, so there's no sticky like sort of, oh god, I've got to get out of Back to the Future now. I've never had to have that, where you've had to like negotiate out of a contract. Sometimes what might happen if a production team want you, but you're already contracted for this show, they could buy you out, which is sometimes happens.
Yeah.
They could go, this show might go, well, we'll let that person go for X amount of money.
It's like buying footballers.
Yeah. So that's probably like the main sort of way that sort of happens.
Yeah. The only time that I've seen it happen was with someone I was working with, and it was the most stressful, awful thing I've ever watched an actor have to go through.
Yeah.
It was horrendous.
Yeah.
It was so bad. Oh god. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you're ever trying to get out of a contract for another one, you have to weigh up, is it really, really worth it? Because it can get so stressful. If you feel like you're missing a boat on a production because you're like, oh man, I'm in this contract, so I can't audition for that, or I can't go and do that tour, or I can't even do that show because I'm contracted here. Maybe in the back of your mind think, hey, like it'll come around again. Like it'll cast again, and hopefully I'll be in the second year cast, whatever. It's just really stressful, and it can cost you personally a lot of money to get out of contracts.
Yeah, it can get messy quite quickly.
Yeah.
And you can make enemies that you don't want to make and that you don't mean to make through like moving to a different job or asking to be bought out. You know, it just it can get tricky. But also I feel like that's for your agent to negotiate and discuss and for them to like have the conversation with you about whether it is worth moving and pissing off X amount of people. And it's also for them, if you do decide to move, to make sure that no one gets pissed off. Yeah.
And the final question is from someone called Jennifer McLean. And the header, the title, Imposter Syndrome. And I found this quite interesting, because I've never thought about this. But they said, I'm interested to know if either of you get imposter syndrome when you land a job. I'm not so scared about auditions because to me, it's a bit like showing the panel the tip of the iceberg of what you can do as a performer. But what if you get to rehearsals and you don't live up to their expectations? What if you were really good in the audition room, but when it got to rehearsals, they changed their mind about you? Luckily, I've never felt that way, I don't think. I've never felt I've nailed it in the audition, so I'm not justified, or I'm not doing as well in rehearsals. I feel like it's the opposite way around for me. Like, the audition room's like more scary and more intimidating.
Yeah.
And I feel weaker in my own ability in an audition room. When I get the job, I'm like, oh right, okay, now I can really show them, and I never feel like I'm worse than I was before.
Yeah, that's the way around I feel as well.
Yeah, I feel like the shackles are off, and I'm like, all right, okay, watch this. Like,
yeah, and
I'm so much better.
The amount of nerves that you feel in an audition as well hold me back.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, just you wait until I'm like relaxed and chill in a rehearsal room, and I feel like I've got the job, so I've got nothing to worry about, and then let it rip.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I always feel. Yeah,
well, I think Jennifer worries about that, and I feel like they think they are better in the audition room, which is hard.
Well, I feel like in an audition room, they aren't going to say, okay, we want you to sing. It's like if you're auditioning for Elphaba in Wicked, for instance, and they go, right, in the audition room, we're going to get you to sing I'm Not That Girl, and then give you the role based on I'm Not That Girl. It's like, no, they're going to get you to sing the end of Wizard and I, the end of Defying Gravity, the end of No Good Deed. They're going to want you to, they're going to want to hear all of the massive big bits to ensure that you can sing the songs.
Yeah.
And so I feel like you are put through your paces in the audition, because that panel want to make sure that they're giving the part to the right person. So when you get to the rehearsal room, you kind of have nothing to worry about, because they've already seen you do everything they need to see you do in order to make sure that you were the right part.
Yeah.
If they had only got you to sing I'm Not That Girl, and then they're like, oh, she can't sing Defying Gravity, that's awkward. That's kind of their fault. Yeah. It's not yours.
Every audition, like, they put you through your paces, like, and it's high pressure and all that sort of stuff. And you will go, if you are auditioning for like Elphaba, like, they will make sure that you're singing like all the high stuff and the hard stuff countless times. It won't just be like one hit wonder and just hope you get it. Like, you'll probably sing like the end of Defying Gravity like 5 times, like just continuous. And they'll go back and give you notes, and you do it again and again and again. So they'll know that you can deliver from those auditions. So yeah, I feel just be confident enough that what you've done in the audition room is good enough for the rehearsal room. So Jennifer also said, can they get rid of you, or have you signed a contract by then and neither you nor them can go back on it? It's a really sticky situation.
Yeah, I mean, you will have already signed a contract by that point.
Yeah.
So it makes them terminating that contract difficult.
Yeah.
But not unheard of.
Yeah. And we're talking about money again as well. You know, we said about money before. The money comes into it. Because
there might be a clause that says they might have to give you like a certain amount of notice before termination, and if they don't, they then have to pay a certain amount of money to like pay you off, or maybe if they do terminate your contract, your agent has agreed that they will pay you half of what you would have worked for, type thing. It will be at like the production company's expense if they don't want you there.
I know that one thing that happens quite a lot actually, and it's more to do with like covers, because covers are easier to switch about, is that they can have an idea of the covers, like who's going to be first cover, who's going to be second, who's going to be third, or whatever. And when it actually gets to rehearsals, but this is like later on down the line, because you do like real rehearsals and then you do like cover rehearsals later on. So say like 4 months into the contract, they might realise pretty quickly that their idea of first cover whoever that they had in their mind in the auditions months ago is actually probably not as good as the third cover.
Yeah.
So they have the power, because in the contracts it never says you are first cover.
Yeah.
It never says that. It always says cover whoever, and this is your fee. So they have the power to switch about and go, actually, you're not first cover anymore. And that does happen.
Yeah, I've watched that.
Yeah, they go, you're not first cover anymore. He's now first cover. Which can be awkward, obviously, in the like company, in the building, because everyone knows that that person was first cover, but now he's not, and he's been switched out for the other guy because they like the other guy and think he's better. So that's easier to handle because there's no sort of like contract, sort of naughtiness going on. They're not going, you know, they're not breaking any rules.
Yeah, it's the technicality of not having a number before it says cover.
Yeah, honestly,
it's like, well, you're still a cover. You're just further down the ranking of covers.
Yeah, so that's something that happens. Yeah. But that was it. That was the final email. Thanks everyone for those emails. Lovely emails. Pretty interesting topics. Right, everyone. Bye. Be safe out there. Don't eat loads of sweets, and then go on a theme park.
Go on a theme park.
Don't go in a theme park and go on one of those rides that does that. Okay. Very specific. Bye.